Creating true title of ownership over your children. Let's talk about it. All right, creating title over property. Now, it's not a prerequisite to have status and standing, but it does kind of help. When your child is born, a document of title is created and a corporation is transpired therefrom. Now, once you start understanding that you are not that corporation and not that stack of papers and not that registered entity, it's a lot easy to separate the cohesion. That is what Child Protective Services has jurisdiction over. That's what judges, police, and they don't know that, but that's how they're operating. They're operating under the fact that they have jurisdiction over the U.S. citizen, which is a corporation. But you don't have to operate in that status. You can understand that you are above and beyond that. If you decide that the birth certificate is not for you and you want to create your own title, you got to understand a few things. Now, if you're having a home birth, the midwives or whoever, if they are there, registered agents of the state are going to want to register the birth. Now, when you get that documentation, either if you're in a hospital or at home, you can put a 45-degree angle, red ink on it saying, I do not consent to this offer to contract, sign it, send it in, whatever. And then that's the end of it. When you're in the hospital, it's a little harder. They're going to try to bug you to death. Do not give them a name. They have to have a name to create the corporation. Do not give them a name and then keep saying that the child is not a U.S. citizen. I got to talk to a lawyer, and they will let you get out of the hospital. And then if they have any documentation, like I said, put a 45-degree angle on it, red ink, saying, I do not consent to this offer to contract, and send that in. For a brand new baby, you want to do something called an affidavit of live birth. And on that, you want to have your statement of facts. You'll have a nativity date. And then if you do not have your land patent, you can do something called meets and bounds, which basically incorporates a rectangular area of a longitude and latitude where the child was born. And then you want to say something like, this is the unique physical traits and attributes and similitudes and characteristics of the child. You put an image on there. You can put a footprint. You can put a little bit of their DNA on there. And then basically you want to sign every single page of the affidavit. You want to put the mother's name, you want to put the grandparents, the third generation, and you basically want to start creating a record and documentation of the child. Make sure if you are designating any cities or states or whatever, it's all unincorporated city, unincorporated state, unincorporated United States of America. You don't have to, but it is suggested to have a family crest and seal and stamp that you can put on there. You can also put a violations for any liability of the claim, which basically means if anybody steps and crosses over the claim of the life of the child or trespasses on the rights, you can say something like, you owe me 700 ounces of gold, payable on demand within 30 days. Then you want to sign, you want to have witnesses. You can use a notary on the other page, make sure you understand jurisdiction. You can put a stamp on it and cancel it and actually give it a value to it. And then you can record it into a miscellaneous files case for a court, or you can put it into the county recorder's office and then certify it out, which will be an exception to the hearsay rule and enforceable anywhere on the earth. For an added layer of protection, some people like to have a notary do a certified copy of the actual documentation because they have to have a wedding signature in order to record something, and then you send in the notary's certificate of a true copy of title, and that's actually what gets the stamps of the court and stuff on it, not your true document. Then you can keep the true title to it. If you're creating the document of title after the child is born, you want to do something called an affidavit of ownership, and you basically follow the same steps of everything I previously said, and then just make sure you get a good title of documentation and proving who they are, and then record that.